What's up, guys? This is French Toast coming at you with a video guide showing you how to farm destination materials in Destiny 2. Now, I know a lot of you are wondering why I'm even doing this, considering it's post-Forsaken. You can just go to Spider in the Tangled Shore and usually get the materials that you want. But let's say it doesn't have what you need at the time. Or you're trying to save your shards and glimmer for the DLC coming up. Or you're just trying to kill time before a raid, or you're waiting for people to get on. If you fall into any of those categories, this video is definitely for you. So first things first, you're going to need to get your hands on a ghost shell that detects caches or resources or has a combo detector perk, which is both of those rolled into one. You're going to want that to match whatever destination you're on. So in my situation, I have a Titan ghost shell since I'm on Titan. As an added bonus, I have the scanner perk, which makes it to where you obtain additional faction consumables on the Moon Titan in my situation, which translates to whenever you pick up a box or you pick up resources, you have a chance to get extra resources. It's about a 1 in 10 chance. I'm not entirely sure of the odds there. Now, you may have a lot of these ghosts already on hand, or you may not have any, or you may have some in your vault, but there are a lot of them that are within the collections if you've been playing the game for a while and you've played through the seasons. I'll give you some examples later on in the video to show you some static rolls that you can get that match certain destinations. Now, second thing you're going to want is a long-range sniper rifle. It doesn't have to be the exact one that I have, but something with really good range, I would say. This one has almost maximum range, so it's pretty nice to have. It is an Osiris DLC weapon, and you can find it in your collections under sniper rifles right here. Now back to what I was talking about. You're probably already catching on to what I'm trying to do with this. If you've farmed materials in Destiny 1 or you've farmed materials at all in this game, you've probably already figured this strategy out. But if you have this equipped with a sniper, definitely comes in handy. And I'll show you what I mean. So, look around. You're not seeing any waypoints right in the materials. But if you pull out your sniper and aim down sights, you will see that all these waypoints pop up. So there's a box over there. There are resources down there, pretty much everywhere, and you can use these to pinpoint exactly what you want. Now, before we go out into the wilderness, what you'll want to do is head over here to the vendor, whatever vendor for the planet that you're on, and you're going to want to pick up bounties. Now, they may not always be on the first page. A lot of them have 2 pages, so you already picked up the ones from here. And then you'll want to head out. So once you head out, the first thing you're going to want to do is grab any kill patrols that you can find. Anything that requires you to kill and pick up something from enemies or just kill them in general. Those are probably the best ones to do. They're the easiest to do, and all the other ones tend to take you out of the way, away from the action, making it harder for you to farm some of the materials here. Another thing you're going to want to keep an eye out for is public events. Public events are definitely the best way to get materials while you're farming, I think. As long as you're actively going out and getting the materials nearby, opening the boxes nearby and whatnot, as long as you see a public event, just go right to it, start it up, try to make it heroic, and complete it. Another thing you can do is keep an eye out for high-value targets. Anytime you see that pop up on this bottom left of your screen, go ahead and track him down and kill him if you can find him. Another thing you can do is, say you clear out an area. It's very rare that this would happen, but say you clear out an area of all the materials, there's no public events coming up, or there's one spawning but it's just popped up, you can head into a lost sector. And lost sectors tend to have materials in them, boxes in them, and there's also the reward cache for clearing it out. The best way to farm materials in this game would be to just immerse yourself in whatever area you're going to. Collect whatever bounties you're going to get from the vendors. Try to complete those as quickly as you can. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is whenever you turn those in after completing them, they give you 10 materials per. So that in and of itself, you get 30. And then with all the farming that you're doing along with that, I'd say in about 10-15 minutes, pretty quickly, you could gather about 100-120 resources. And it's pretty useful. Honestly, I prefer to do this over going to Spider. I mean, it is a lot more time consuming than just loading up Tangled Shore and heading over to the guy, but it's a good way to kill time. And it's fairly inexpensive, so you don't have to worry about paying for much of anything except for the ghost if you have to pull it from collections, and the sniper if you got to pull it from collections. Aside from that, it's a good way to kill time. About the only time I ever visit Spider is if I'm really busy in the middle of something and I really need the materials right now. But aside from that, this is how I farm my materials. I think it's an effective strategy. I hope you guys do too. Alright, before we get into this, I would like to point out that these are not the only ghost shells capable of rolling what I consider the God roll. The God roll being the combo detector and the scanner perk rolled into the same ghost. These ghosts that I'm going to show you are the ghosts that I found myself, that I've rolled myself, wasted all my materials on just to see if they work and would roll the God roll that I was talking about. I'd also like to point out that there are 2 exotic ghost shells in the game right now that specifically track caches at any location. Meaning, as long as you have this equipped, any destination you load into, you're going to automatically detect caches. It doesn't detect resources, but it does detect caches. And it's pretty nice. The first ghost shell is a Season 2 ghost shell, which I actually don't have unlocked, and I don't have a preview for you. But it's called the Star Map shell. And the second one is one that just dropped with Season 5 called the Rust Punk shell, which I have right here on screen. This has the Treasure Hunter perk, which detects caches within a 50-meter range and increases glimmer gain. Pretty nice perk to have, although I think I'm going to stick with my legendaries just because it tracks both. So let's start with Season 2, and the very first ghost shell I have on the list, the Dawning Bauble shell. This ghost shell will get the combo detector for IO and also the scanner for IO, so this is the IO specific ghost shell. Pretty nice. The next one in line is the Commanding Star shell. Now, this ghost shell is the legendary equivalent of Sagira shell, pretty much. It doesn't track nearly as far, but say you don't have Sagira shell, you don't want to grind it out to get Sagira shell, this is a good alternative. Those are the only ones in Season 2 that I checked. Now let's go to Season 3. The first one I have in Season 3 is called the Ambrite Complex shell. This is one that you get from Commander Zavala, or you would have gotten from Commander Zavala in Season 2. I believe this was a rank-up reward. I'm not entirely sure how I got it because it's been so long. But this one in particular will track Nessus. This has the Nessus tracker perks for it. The next one on the list is the Header Stripe shell. Now this shell in particular tracks EDZ stuff. So equip this, head off into the EDZ if you get the God roll on it, and enjoy yourself. And the last one in Season 3 is the Bank Jar shell. Now this one looks like a very basic ghost for the most part, but this one is the one that tracks Mars-specific stuff. So let's back out of here, head to Season 4. And what we have for Season 4, obviously a lot of the Forsaken stuff. So primarily all this is, you get a lot of Gambit-specific stuff, you get a lot of Dreaming City and Tangled Shore-specific stuff, but there is one particular one called the Eyeball shell that tracks Titan. This one is a Titan-specific ghost shell. It's pretty nice. And this is one that I primarily use whenever I'm farming on Titan. Now, the one I use for the Tangled Shore would be the Blue Sky shell. Now, I know this isn't the only one. That was my disclaimer in the beginning, is there's a lot of shells in here. These are not the only shells that could have these rolls. There are several other ones out there. There's some on the list that you may not have, and there's also some that I don't have that I can't roll myself to find out. So this one in particular does track Tangled Shore. It does come with the combo detector for Tangled Shore, and it also comes with the scanner perk for Tangled Shore, which is pretty nice. And then you have the Wishmaker shell. Now this one is the Dreaming City specific one, and this one drops in the raid. Which, the Dreaming City specific ghost shells were a lot harder to obtain than I thought they would be. There were some that dropped with the Festival of the Lost event, and if I remember correctly, those have random rolls whenever they drop. They don't always drop for the same planet like this one does. But this one is always going to be Dreaming City if you manage to get it to drop from the raid. The other one would be the Starlight shell here. This one also drops Dreaming City specific stuff. I have a buddy of mine that has the God roll, like I mentioned. And that's pretty much it for this. Can't think of any other shells. There are specific ones for Crucible, for Gambit, and for Strikes and whatnot. I don't have those listed on me at the moment. I do have some on my character, though, so I can show you that. So, if you're looking at my character here, I have the Spectral Circuit shell, which is the Gambit-specific one. I have the Competitive shell, which is the Crucible-specific one, and then the Citrine Sway shell, which is the Strike-specific one. Obviously, this one came from the Dawning last year. This one is a Season 1, and this one is a Forsaken drop, so Season 4. And these are all pretty useful when it comes to farming out any materials that you need to farm out. And with that, I bid you adieu. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.